Hello, universe! Welcome to the Patreon extravaganza. This is the TengDios philosophy brought to you by the Dead Roots. I'm super proud of all of this, and this is video 2. This is all about the spirit. The arc of the philosophy is that we always have to start in the body. And the reason why that is, and it's going to lead right into this video, which is about the spirit, is because you cannot go to a silent retreat with the flu. You got to tend to your body first. Make sure that your body is safe, grounded, present, fueled, healed, fit, whatever you want to call it, before we can move into this. So connecting with the spirit is entirely individual to everyone. I would like you to grab yourself a notebook, a pencil or pen so that we can take some notes or maybe answer some of the prompts that I'll ask here so that we can tune in a little deeper or at least think about these things for a day or two until you find the answer, or just sit with it and embody it until it feels good. So I'm going to give you a moment. We're going to take a big deep breath in and out. I would like you to consider how often you sit in silence. Nothing of stimulation in mind. Is the thought of this intimidating or frightening, uncomfortable? Maybe it sounds so nice right now. It's been a really long day and you've been dealing with a lot, and so you just want to sit and zen out. Are you one of those people like me who always needs to have music on in the background and some capacity to drown out the thoughts because sometimes it's just a little too difficult to navigate? Consider what silence looks like and feels for you, and the last time that you showed up for yourself in this way, if you do. Connecting with the spirit is the most important part of this arc, in my opinion, because obviously we have the body. We need to remember that we are flesh beings first, and we must tend to that so we can function properly in other spaces. But I find the spirit to be the most important part because this is where we get our passion. This is where we get our... Sorry, I have a loose hair here and it's driving me crazy. Okay, got it. See, that human part, you know? The spirit is something that exists within us and around us at all times. I want you to take whatever deity, whatever god or gods that you look up to and bring them in here. I'm going to be using the word singular god just for clarity's sake, but that is not to align with any sort of religion or discriminate against multi-god religions. Bringing in your deity, taking a big deep breath in, like, oh, we're warm and cozy up in here now. Okay. All the spirits are up in here now. I love it. I love it. I love it. I feel it. Okay. I feel mine are here. I got my guides here, my ancestors, everything like that. This feeling of warmth, of not sitting alone, can help fill that silence wherever you are. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. So I experienced some really terrible domestic violence years ago and attempt on my life, the whole thing. I was not safe to stay in the same place for a very long time because the justice system is not very equitable for their victims. And his family was in the judicial system. I don't know why those words aren't coming out right now. I feel like my Theobetta was teasing me, like, oh, good luck talking about this now. You're going to be stumbling. He had a great sense of humor. Has a great sense of humor. But what I discovered during this time after everything had come to a close, but he wasn't behind bars as he should have been, I was left with deep paranoia that was valid because he had showed up at our house at 2 a.m. with the ankle monitor on a restraining order. It's been a very long journey dealing with that, but something I realized I kept doing is every single time I would go on a road trip or go leave, I ended up getting a job as a medical courier so I could be as far away from possible. I would take dog sitting so I would never be in the same house at the same time. I made up a lot of coping mechanisms in order to make sure that I felt safe to tend to my body, right? But what I discovered is I was totally missing the spirit part. Like 100% missing the spirit part. And it wasn't until I took a really long road trip that I really sat with this and recognized, as far away from home and that abuse that I was physically, it was like his ghost, that negativity, that abuse was sitting right next to me. Because I hadn't worked on the part of finding spirit around me and realizing that I'm protected and safe no matter where I am, I ended up with the opportunity of a month-long dog sitting completely by myself, isolation, and coincidentally, I had been planning to do a month of microdosing by myself as well. I intended to be home or wherever life took me, but it lined up perfectly. My schedule and my plans and my research lined up with this long dog sitting. So I spent a month in isolation doing this microdosing journey. I did have a little bit of co-facilitation with a therapist to just kind of check in with me, make sure that I was not totally losing my mind. And it was actually really amazing. And what I did in that time frame was learn how my body works. I'm biphasic in sleep, so that means I like to have 2 sleep cycles throughout the 24-hour day rather than just one. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but my natural rhythm is biphasic. I also learned what times a day I'm just naturally inclined to eat and that I'm a grazer. So the body side really got tuned in, but what I really fell in love with here was that even though I was completely alone, I didn't feel like it, and it didn't feel like his ghost was here with me, that torment, that abuse. It felt like I just was finding love everywhere. There's a quote by Theo Von. He found Jesus, that's his choice of deity, and he said something super beautiful about it. He was like, imagine being alone in the world all of the time. That level of loneliness, that pain, that anguish is something that I never want to feel ever again. And so when I found Jesus, I recognized that I could be present and feel loved and have someone to talk to absolutely no matter what, where I was or where I was going. And that is something I will take every single day. And I love that so much. I personally follow a darker spirit, and I'm not going to name it here for stigma's sake. But she is with me all of the time. I align myself very much with nature, and so I find Mother Nature as a stronger deity in these larger spaces when I'm not feeling a certain type of way, where I bring in my own personal deity. When I'm out in nature, it's like I see the life. I see the trees, and I just feel like there's a soul and a spirit within them. And no matter how alone I might be, I never am. That feeling of community, even when it feels like you have no support system, is what we're looking for. And I want you to find it for yourself. I'm not the one to tell you what that looks like for you. I don't know what your history of religion looks like. Personally, Christianity is not something that I align with very easily. I was severely religiously abused, tied down and sprayed with holy water several times as a child type religious abuse. Not here for that. So I find things that I can touch and I can hold to bring myself back into that grounding. And whether that's a tree, whether that's the grass, whether I pick some flowers, whatever it might be, or I take seeds and I sprinkle them around. That is where my medicine comes from. That's where my faith comes from. Something I want you to sit with here, a prompt maybe, if you will. How do you treat yourself? Do you treat yourself like God is within you too? Thinking about the self-dialogue that you have. Would you talk to your God that way? Whenever you make a mistake, how do you feel in that moment? Do you come with negativity right at yourself? Like, oh my God, why did I do that? Would you talk to your God that way? Or would you trust that that mistake was there for a reason? You had a lesson that you needed to learn, and that was a gift. And you, having God within you, are on the right path because you made that mistake. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect in this. I had a fit today about how everything that I do always goes to shit. It happens. It's not a good feeling, but it's there, and it's raw, and it's real. But this is a practice. And this is the entirety of what the Temple of Spirituality is on Patreon. This tier comes with two important things to help you find this on your own. Something called meditative prayer. This is a way for you to show up however you would like. What we do is we sit in a circle. If you show up in person, that's at Buffalo and Sparrow. But if you are digitally inclined and would like to show up digitally, I invite you to. Please show up ready, still have the things that you would like to have. I guide you through a chant, some intention setting, some breath work. The chanting is really the core of it. Getting uncomfortable, hearing your voice over and over and over and over again, seeing if you can speak out to yourself, your higher power, the higher power within you. It can get really unsettling. The one just this past time was just be, and the amount of times I caught myself not just being while I chanted it 648 times. That felt pretty silly, but it's a practice. In this experience, I will read from a spiritual text. Tao Te Ching is my heart and soul right now, so I've been reading it from there a lot. But we will dive into other texts. We've read from the Bhagavad Gita. I will be pulling from some other ones here soon, although I did just get a different translation of the Tao Te Ching, so that's going to stick around for a little longer. It's so that way we can experience different religions, different beliefs, different philosophies, and think about things differently overall. I will be bringing in some readings from the Bible, but I will say I'm going to be adding a twist because of my own personal history with Christian religious abuse, and I know that that's true for a lot of you out there as well. I'm going to be editing them down to make them very neutral, earth-based, rather than Jesus, higher male, all-seeing, all-fearing God above. So it's going to be very muted to what we can touch and hold and feel. But we will be pulling from many different texts in order to go through that. The second thing in this tier that is, I'm really proud of this, and it has helped me a lot. Honestly, the journey that I took in the 30 days of microdosing was this to a certain degree. It's something called pathfinding, and it's intended to function like co-working, but it's not about productivity, it's not about functionality, it's not about getting anything done. It's simply about having a space to converse about the spiritual turmoils that we're experiencing. Like, for example, the other day, I was having a really, really, really hard time and just feeling super down. I recently quit my job and haven't been making enough money, and I've started taking that on as a rating of my self-worth. But pathfinding would have been a really good thing for me to have done that day. Sitting and conversing and talking about, like, okay, well, this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm not finding my faith in this. How can I practice finding my faith in this? How can I find trust or hope or insert a deity here in this to feel better? Or maybe some of you out there are having a really hard time sitting in that silence and that discomfort. We can talk about what feels good, what doesn't feel good, where we feel stuck. We don't have any spaces that I'm aware of where this is allowed to be talked about at length. And I would love you to be a part of it. So, of course, I do have my bills to pay. There are a couple captions below with discounts for Echo Water. It's a hydrogen water flask that I use every single day. It helps me a lot with my anti-inflammation, for my fibromyalgia. I find my recovery time whenever I get a really bad autoimmune flare is significantly better when I am on this. Whenever I'm off, because I'm a scientist at heart, I always want to be like, okay, well, maybe I'm just better. And so I'll stop doing it for a little bit. And I need to stop doing that because I'll put myself through like 2 weeks of flare-ups, just agonizing pain all over my body, and almost immediately get back on the hydrogen water. And it helps me so much. It just feels like my joints can move freely. My recovery time is a lot better from workouts, so I can actually build strength in the ways that I want to. And then finding the good is always important too. So that is a brand that has a bunch of pro mental health and pro finding the good stuff out there. I have the Find the Good beanie and I wear it all the time. I'm not wearing it today because it's really warm out, but it just feels really good to find the good and remind others that that's out there. So there's discount code for both of those things if you either want to help spread finding the good, find the good yourself, or get yourself some Echo Water goodness. On the last little bit, anyone who signs up for any one of these Patreon tiers, either from video 1, the Body Wellness Treasury, video 2, here, the Temple of Spirituality, or video 3, the Cognitive Cache. I know it's pronounced cache, but cache is so much more fun to say. The Philosopher's Club is included in every single one of these. If you want to sign up only for the Philosopher's Club, you can do that as well. This is a handwritten letter that I send out every single month. It is a wonderful time to just receive something fun in the mail. It's not a bill, it's not an obligation, it's just something to show up for yourself. It includes a bunch of really fun things, such as the 7-day challenge to help practice a little bit of mindful discipline, a cosmic calendar on the back of it. We also have the quest log, which is 10 quests every single month to complete at your leisure. Next month's one is going to come with a bunch of really fun things. And on the back here has another cosmic calendar with all my class schedule for all 3 of these tiers, plus in-person classes as well. Here we have the meditation for the month of February. These are the examples that I show because February was free. You can still access that online as well. This is to help reconnect you with the seasons and get centered. The quill on the other side is the prompts for all of these activities to be brought down into 3 different prompts that are intended to be written on paper, pen and paper, to help with that cognition and everything like that, that comprehension of what you're going through and how it feels to be showing up more raw in the world. I hope that you'll join. I'd be honored to write you a letter, and definitely helps all of the post service. Pretty much buying stamps is the closest thing that we can do to donating to the postal service. It is at risk of closing, which means that rural areas will not be receiving mail at all, at least not for free. So I think that this is really important for us to get back in touch with our roots, hence the dead roots. I love you. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Go check out video 3. It's somewhere. Video 1 is also somewhere. It'll all be here. Have a good one, and TengDios.